Module 5 District Primary Education Program DPEP. The District Education Program, launched in 1994, was a significant initiative by the Government of India aimed at revitalizing primary education, especially in underprivileged and rural districts. So, the District Primary Education Program, launched in 1994, was a major education reform by the Government of India. It aimed to improve primary education classes 1 to 5 in rural and disadvantaged districts where educational development was lagging. Why DPEP started? India faced challenges like low enrollment in primary schools, high dropout rates, poor learning level, educational inequality among different social groups. To address these issues, DPEP focused on inclusive quality education for all children, especially girls, children from scheduled caste and tribes, and other marginalized communities. Key objectives: enhancing access. Ensure all children have to access to primary education classes 1 to 4 through formal schools or alternative methods, reducing disparities, minimize differences in enrollment, dropout rates, and learning achievements among various social groups, lowering dropout rates, aim to reduce the overall primary school dropout rate to less than 10%, improving learning outcomes, increases average achievement levels by 25% over baseline measurements, ensuring basic literacy and numeracy competencies among all primary school children. So, the main goal of DPEP, access to education. Make sure every child can attend school either through regular school or alternative means. Reduce inequality. Decrease differences in education between regions and social groups. Lower dropout rates. Bring down the dropout rate to below 10%. Improve learning. Ensure children develop strong reading, writing, and math skills. Innovative features. Decentralized planning. Empowered district to develop and implement their own educational plans, promoting localized decision making. Community participation. Encouraged involvement from local communities, including parents and teachers, in school management and decision making process. Focus on equity. Targeted interventions to support girls, children from scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and those with disabilities. Pedagogical reforms. Introduced child-centered and activity-based learning approaches to make education more engaging and effective. So, the innovative features: local planning. Districts made their own education plans to suit local needs. Decentralized planning. Community involvement, community participation. Parents, teachers, and local bodies were included in school development. Focus on equity in education. Special focus on children from backward and marginalized communities. Pedagogical reforms. Modern teaching methods shifted from rote learning to activity-based, child-centered education. Implementation and outcome. DPEP was implemented in multiple phases, eventually covering 272 districts across 18 states, including Kerala. The program received substantial support from international organizations such as the World Bank, European Commission, DFID, and UNICEF. Notably, the program's success led to its evolution into the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan in 2001, which further expanded efforts to universalize elementary education in India. In Kerala, DPEP introduced innovative teaching methods like the Nalikali joyful learning, approach, which emphasized a non-threatening and engaging learning environment, significantly improving enrollment and retention rates, especially among girls. Overall, DPP played a pivotal role in transforming India's primary education landscape by focusing on decentralized planning, community involvement, and inclusive educational practices. Implementation implemented in 272 districts across 18 states, including Kerala, supported by global agencies like the World Bank, UNICEF. Kerala introduced the Nali Kali joyful learning method, which made learning more enjoyable and reduced fear and dropouts, especially among girls. So, due to its success, DPEP later evolved into the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan in 2001, which further expanded education reforms at the national level. In summary, DPEP was a landmark initiative that laid the foundation for modern elementary education in India. It proved that with local planning, community support, and child-friendly learning, education could be made inclusive, effective, and meaningful. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. What is Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan? Background. Why was SSA launched? Before 2001, India faced serious challenges in elementary education. Millions of children, especially from rural areas, slums, SC, ST, and minority communities, were out of school. There were huge gender gap in enrollment and literacy. Schools lacked basic infrastructure, including classrooms, toilet, and teaching materials. Teachers were undertrained, and many schools had only one teacher for multiple grades. Learning levels were poor. Children were attending school but not learning well. To address these challenges, the Government of India launched the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan in 2001 with a goal to universalize elementary education in a time-bound manner. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan launched in 2001, the Government of India's flagship program for achieving universal elementary education UEE in a time-bound manner. It was born out of the constitutional mandate 86th Amendment, making education a fundamental right for children aged 6 to 14 years. Making education a fundamental right for children aged 6 to 14 years. Main objective of SSA. Universal enrollment and retention. Ensures every children 6 to 14 years is enrolled and stays in school until they complete elementary education. Bridge gender and social gap. SSA focus on 4 key pillars: access, equity, quality, community ownership. Access, every children in a school within walking distance. Equity, special focus on disadvantaged groups. Quality, improving curriculum, pedagogy and assessment. Community ownership, local involvement in planning, monitoring and rural schools. So ensure every children 6 to 14 years is enrolled. Bridge gender and social gap. Focus on girls, SC, ST, minority children and children with special needs to ensure equity. Improve quality of education. Make education child-friendly, interactive and inclusive with better infrastructure, learning materials and teacher training. Community participation. Empower local bodies like school management committee and panchayat to monitor and manage school. Legal and constitutional backing. SSA was supported by the 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002, which made free and compulsory education a fundamental right, Article 21A, for all children aged 6 to 40. It also aligned with the Right to Education RTE Act 2009, which gave legal teeth to the SSA goal. Key features of SSA. Key components and strategies. Infrastructure development. Opening new schools in underserved areas. Constructing classroom, toilet, boundary walls and providing drinking water. Providing disability-friendly infrastructure like ramps. So building new school, classroom, toilet, drinking water facilities and libraries. Teacher recruitment and training. Hiring of qualified teachers to reduce student-teacher ratio. Regular in-service training for existing teachers. Emphasis on child-centric and interactive teaching practices. Next, curriculum and textbook. Development of locally relevant activity-based curriculum. Free textbook and uniform for all children. Use of mother tongue or local language in early grades. Innovative pedagogy. Use of activity-based learning, ICT tools and remedial teaching. Special focus on girls. Focus support for girls education. Establishment of Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas, residential school for girls from disadvantaged groups. Appointment of female teachers. Separate toilet for girls and gender sensitization program. Inclusive education. Special intervention for children with special needs. Provision of resource teachers, aids and appliances and even home-based education when necessary. Support for children with special needs with aids, ramps and home-based education if needed. SSA's achievement. Massive increases in enrollment, especially among girls and marginalized groups. Significant drop in dropout rates. India saw near universal enrollment in primary education. Gender parity improved drastically. Dropout rates of girls reduced. Major infrastructure improved in school across the country. SSA became a platform for major innovation like school report card, continuous and comprehensive evaluation and community monitoring. Introduction of ICT tools, smart classroom and remedial education. School readiness program for early childhood care and education. SSA's evolution and challenges faced. Retention and transition rates, especially from upper primary to secondary, remain a concern. Despite high enrollment, learning outcomes still remain low in many areas. Teacher absenteeism and uneven quality of training persisted. Limited success in inclusive education for children with severe disabilities. In 2018, SSA was merged into the large umbrella program Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, which now covers pre-primary to classes 12, ensures holistic and integrated education. So the evolution into Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan 2018. In 2018, SSA was merged with Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan and Teacher Education Scheme. Together, they formed Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan to ensure holistic school education from pre-primary to class 12. Legacy of SSA. SSA redefined the landscape of elementary education in India. It shifted the focus from just schooling to learning and inclusion. Its principles are now embedded in NEP 2020, which builds on SSA's foundation of equity, access, and quality. So, in conclude, SSA transformed the Indian elementary education system by focusing on access, equity, and quality. It empowered local communities, improved learning environment, and brought millions of children into the fold of education. Comparison table DPEP SSA RMSA. Full form DPEP 1994 District Primary Education Program SSA 2001 Sarvak Shiksha Abhiyan. RMSA 2009 Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. Focus level. Primary education classes 1 to 5, elementary education classes 1 to 8, secondary education classes 9, 10. Goal. Improve DPP's goal, improve access, reduce dropout and disparities at primary level. SSA's goal is universalization of elementary education. RMSA, universalization of secondary education. Target group DPEP, children aged 6 to 11. SSA, children aged 6 to 14. RMSA, adolescent age 14 to 16. Equity focus. SC/ST girls, disabled, rural children. SSA, SC/ST girls, minorities, children with special needs. RMSA, SC/ST girls, disabled, BPL, rural youth. Key strategies. Decentralized planning, joyful learning. Example, Nali Kali. SSA, free textbooks, uniforms, infrastructure, inclusive education. RMSA, infrastructure, expansion, ICT, occasional education, girls hostel. Funding. DPEP, Government of India plus World Bank, EU, UNICEF, DFID. SSA, Government of India plus state governments. RMSA, Government of India plus state government. Teacher training. DPEP, emphasize on child-centered pedagogy. SSA, continuous teacher training and academic support. RMSA, subject-specific and ICT-based training. Technology. Minimal, early phase. SSA, introduced gradually. RMSA, strong ICT focus. ICT at school scheme. Monitoring tools. Base Achievement Survey. Baseline Achievement Survey SSA, Unified District Information System for Education UDISE, School Level Data System. Unified District Information System for Education or UDISE is a database about school in India. RMSA, UDISE plus performance indicators. Major achievement. Laid foundation for SSA, promoted decentralized education. SSA, improved enrollment, retention, reduced gender gap. RMSA expanded access to secondary education, access to secondary schools, introduced occasionalization education. Outcome and legacy. DPEP led to SSA. SSA merged into Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan 2018. RMSA merged into Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan 2018. In summary, DPEP was the foundation piloting reforms and community involvement in primary education. SSA expanded the idea to all of elementary education, ensuring universal access and quality for ages 6 to 14. RMSA moved one step further, aiming to ensure universal secondary education and prepare students for higher education or employment. Together, these programs transformed India's school education system, and now all three have been merged into the unified Samagra Shiksha scheme under the NEP 2020 vision. Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan launched in March 2009. The RMSA was a centrally sponsored scheme by the Government of India aimed at strengthening the secondary education sector, classes 9 and 10. Before RMSA, most educational focus was on primary education through Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. RMSA aimed to bridge the gap between primary and higher education, making secondary education more accessible, equitable, and of better quality. Key objectives of RMSA. Achieve universal access to secondary education up to class 10 by 2017. Universal access to secondary education by 2017 and universal retention by 2020. Improve the quality of secondary education, including learning outcome. Eliminate gender, caste, social, economic, and regional disparities. Remove gender, social, economic, disability barriers. Provide special focus on marginalized groups such as girls, SC/ST communities, OBC, minority, and children with special needs. Strengthen infrastructure in existing schools and establish new schools where needed. Main features. Main features of RMSA. Setting up new government secondary schools. Access. Setting up new secondary schools in areas where none exist within a 5-kilometer radius. Upgrading upper primary schools class 6 to 8 to include classes 9 to 10. Upgrading existing upper primary school, providing additional classroom, laboratory, library, drinking water and toilet facilities. Recruitment and training of teachers. Focus on girls, students, children from SC/ST minority communities, children with special needs. Encouragement of public-private partnership. Quality improvement. Recruitment of additional teachers, regular in-service teacher training, curricular reforms, integration of ICT, information and communication technology, focus on maths, science and language teaching, introduction of occasional education and life skill training. Equity, provision of free textbook, uniform, bicycle and hostel facility for girls and disadvantaged groups, scholarship and incentive scheme for SC/ST minority students and economically weaker section. Focus on inclusive education for children with special needs, CWSN. Monitoring and evaluation. School-based assessments and regular monitoring by state and central agencies. Integration with Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Its funding pattern. Initially, the funding pattern was 75 is to 25 between the center and state, and for the northeastern states, it was 90 is to 10. Progress and achievement. Thousands of new secondary schools were opened or upgraded. Teacher availability improved, especially in rural and backward areas. Enrollment rates at the secondary level increased significantly. Gender disparity in secondary education saw a notable decline. Integration into Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. In 2018, RMSA was merged with two other major schemes, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and Teacher Education, into one comprehensive program called Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. This move aimed to ensure holistic development of school education from pre-primary to class 12 with unified planning, implementation and monitoring. So in 2018, RMSA was subsumed under Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, which combined SSA, RMSA and teacher education into single umbrella program for school education from pre-primary to class 12. RUSA. What is RUSA? Rashtriya Ukchadar Shiksha Abhiyan. RUSA is a centrally sponsored scheme launched in 2013 by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, now called the Ministry of Education. The main aim is to transform the state higher education system in India. Unlike centrally funded institutions like IITs and IIMs, most students in India study in state universities and colleges, which often lack proper infrastructure, funding and quality. RUSA tries to bridge this gap. So it aims to provide strategic funding and support to state higher education institutions in order to improve access, quality, equity in higher education system. Key objectives of RUSA: provide equal opportunity for quality education to all sections of society, upgrade existing state universities and colleges to national standards, correct regional imbalances in access to higher education by focusing on educationally backward districts, promote autonomy, accountability and academic excellence, encourage innovation, research and skill-based education. Improve the overall quality of state institutions by ensuring conformity to prescribed norms and standards, enhance equity and access to higher education by creating opportunities for underprivileged students and backward regions, promote autonomy in state institutions and encourage accountability through performance-based funding, ensure adequate funding to universities and colleges for infrastructure, encourage academic and administrative reforms, including semester system, choice-based credit system, accreditation, and governance changes. Major components of RUSA. How RUSA work? Funding models. Central government provides 60% of the fund, state government contribute 40%. For special category state like those in the northeast, the ratio is 90 is to 10. Performance-based funding. Institutions must submit state higher education plans showing how they will use the fund. Only those meetings the quality benchmark like NAAC accreditation, proper governance, infrastructure, etc. will receive fund. Key components or areas covered by RUSA: creation of new universities and model degree colleges, upgrading existing colleges into universities, renovation and modernization of infrastructure, faculty recruitment and training programs, digital education and ICT enabled learning, promotion of research and innovation, support for accreditation and quality assurance. Features of RUSA. Based on the funding pattern of 60:40 between the central and the states, 90:10 for northeastern states and special category states, funding is performance linked and subject to institutional meeting quality benchmark. Emphasis on planning and governance reforms in the higher education sector. Impact of RUSA so far: helped modernize thousands of state colleges and universities, improve infrastructure like libraries, lab, classroom, hostels, and digital facilities, encourage innovation, skill-based education, and entrepreneurship, promoted regional balance between supporting institutions in backward and tribal areas. RUSA has played a significant role in strengthening state universities and colleges, bridging the infrastructure gap, and improving academic environment. Comparison between RMSA and RUSA. RMSA Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, RUSA Rashtriya Uchchadhar Shiksha Abhiyan. Launched RMSA 2009, RUSA 2013. Targeted education level: secondary education classes 9 to 10, higher education colleges and universities. Objective: to enhance access, equity and quality of secondary education, to improve access, equity and quality in state higher education. Scope: covers government and aided secondary schools. RUSA focuses on state universities and colleges. Key components: infrastructure improvement, teacher recruitment, training, ICT, etc. RUSA infrastructure: grants, faculty development, research, innovation. Funding pattern: center state sharing 75:25, 90:10 for northeast states. RUSA center state sharing 60:40, 90:10 for northeast states and union territories. Implementing body: RMSA state education departments under guidance of Ministry of Human Resource Development, now MOE, Ministry of Education. RUSA State Higher Education Council with MHRD or MOE oversight. Monitoring and evaluation by RMSA Mission and State Monitoring Committees, RUSA through Project Appraisal Board and SHECs. Outcome focus: increased enrollment, reduced dropout, improved learning outcomes. Accreditation: RUSA outcome focus on accreditation, autonomy, faculty quality, research output. Role of various organizations or agencies in education: UGC, NCTE, NCERT, SCERT, NUEPA, NAC, DIET, General Awareness on KER and KSR. First, UGC, University Grant Commission. Established 1956 as per UGC Act. Role: purpose: UGC is the apex body that oversees higher education in India. Key function: university recognition. UGC ensures that universities meet certain standards before they can grant degrees. Funding: provides financial assistance to universities and colleges. Curriculum improvement: promote the development of curriculum and research. Quality initiatives: launches programs like NET, National Eligibility Test, and research fellowships. Role of UGC is coordinate, determines and maintains standard of university education, provides recognition to universities in India, disburses fund to universities and colleges, promotes quality higher education through schemes like NET fellowship, etc. NCTE, National Council for Teacher Education, established in 1995 as a statutory body under the NCTE Act 1993. Purpose: NCTE ensures quality in teacher education in India. Key functions: approves teacher education programs like B.Ed, D.Ed, M.Ed, monitors and maintains standards of training institutes, develops norms for infrastructure, faculty and curriculum in teacher education, helps improve the quality of teachers entering the school system, regulates and oversees teacher education program in India, grant recognition to teacher education institutions, B.Ed, DLED, M.Ed, etc., develops curriculum framework and guideline for teacher education. NCERT, National Council of Educational Research and Training, established in 1961. Purpose: NCERT supports school education nationally. Key function: develops textbook and learning materials used by CBSE and other boards, frames the National Curriculum Framework NCF, provides training to teachers and educational officers, conduct research in pedagogy and educational technology, develop and publishes textbook and learning material for school, provide academic support to states and union territories, conduct research in school education, develop national curriculum framework. SCERT, State Council of Educational Research and Training, established, varies state-wise. Example, Kerala, SCERT was established in 1994. Purpose: SCERT perform a similar role as NCERT but at the state level. In Kerala, SCERT prepare textbook for classes 1 to 12 except for CBSE or ICSE. Key functions: develop and revise a syllabus and textbook in the regional context, designs in-service teacher training programs, assist the education department in implementing new policies, conduct state-level achievement surveys. Role: functions as the academic wing of the state education department, designs textbook curricula at the state level, conduct teacher training and educational research, supports diet and school education reforms. NUEPA, now NIEPA, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, established in 1962 as UNESCO Regional Center, become NUEPA in 1979. Upgraded as Deemed University 2006. Purpose: focuses on educational planning, policy making and administration. Key functions: trains education officers, principals and administrators, conduct research in school management, leadership and educational reforms, offer higher education programs like MPhil and PhD in education planning. Role: focus on capacity building and research in educational planning and administration, trains educational administrators and planners, offers MPhil, PhD and postdoctoral programs. NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, established in 1994 by UGC. Purpose: NAAC ensures quality in higher education institutions. NAC. Key functions. Evaluates colleges and universities based on set parameters like infrastructure, teaching quality, research, and student support. Provides accreditation, grades like A++, A, B+, etc. Encourages institutions to maintain academic excellence. NAC accreditation is mandatory for receiving UGC grants. The purpose of NAC ensures quality in higher education institutions. Role: assess and accredits higher education institutions, ensures quality standards in teaching, learning, research, and governance, grades institutions based on performance and infrastructure. Diet: District Institute of Education and Training. Established under the NPE 1986. Purpose: DIET is a district level teacher training center. Key functions: train teachers especially at the elementary level, supports implementation of new teaching techniques and pedagogical practices, provides academic support to schools including material development, acts as a resource center for school-based innovations. Role: impart training to elementary school teachers, conduct action research at innovations in education at the district level, provide academic and resource support to schools and teachers. General awareness, KER and KSR. General awareness on KER and KSR. KER, Kerala Education Rules. Implemented from 1st June 1959. Purpose: to provide a legal framework for the management of schools in Kerala. Covers rules for establishing schools, appointments and service conditions of teachers in aided and government schools, rights and duties of managers and teachers, promotion, leave, discipline and transfers. Governs the management, administration and functions of aided and government schools in Kerala, include provisions related to teacher appointment, service conditions, school working, etc. KSR, Kerala Service Rule, came into effect 1st November 1959. Purpose: to regulate the service conditions of government employees. Covers salaries, allowances and increments, leave, casual, earned, maternity, etc. Retirement and pension rules, travel allowance, probation, seniority. Governs the service conditions of government employees in Kerala, covers rules regarding pay, leave, pension, promotion, transfers, etc., essential for administrative functioning and human resource management. Comparison of organizations. UGC, University Grant Commission. Established date 28 December 1953. Became statutory on November 1956 under UGC Act. Key function: regulates and funds higher education. Regulates universities, give recognition and funds. NCTE, National Council for Teacher Education. Established year 17 August 1995, NCTE Act came into force. Key function: regulates teacher education institutions. Approves teacher education courses like B.Ed, D.El.Ed, M.Ed, etc. NCERT, National Council of Education Research and Training. It came into effect in 1st September 1961. Key function: curriculum development, textbooks, preparation of textbooks, training. Design CBSE textbooks, teacher training, curriculum. SCERT, State Council of Educational Research and Training, established July 1994. Key function: prepare state syllabus textbooks and trains teachers. Textbooks, curriculum development, teacher training. NUEPA, NIEPA, National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, established on August 1962, became University on 20 April 2006. Key function: research and training in educational planning. NAAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, established 16 September 1994. Key function: accredits higher education institutions, grades colleges or universities, promotes quality education. DIET, District Institute of Education and Training, established on 1986 as per National Policy on Education. Key function: teacher training at primary level, train primary teachers, supports district level education. KER, Kerala Education Rules, established 2nd March 1959, notified via Kerala Gazette, 1st June 1959, regulates appointment, service rule, school management, rules for school management and teacher service in Kerala. KSR, Kerala Service Rule, 1st November 1959, came into force. Key function: service conditions of state government employees, rules for salary, leave, pension of government employees. Organization comparison: UGC, higher focus area, higher education regulation and funding, governing body, Ministry of Education, Government of India. NCTE, focus area, teacher education standards and approval, governing body, Ministry of Education, Government of India. NCERT, focus area, school curriculum, research and textbook, governing body, Ministry of Education, Government of India. SCERT, focus area, state curriculum, training, textbook development, governing body, State Department of Education. NIEPA, NUEPA, focus area, education, planning, administration, training, governing body, Ministry of Education, Government of India. NAAC, focus area, quality assessment and accreditation of higher education institution, governing body, autonomous under UGC. DIET, focus area, primary teacher training and local academic support, governing body, SCERT or state government. KER, focus area, school management and teacher service rule, governing body, Government of Kerala. KSR, focus area, service rules for government employees, governing body, Government of Kerala. Professional growth of teachers, pre-service and in-service teacher education. Professional growth means the ongoing development of teachers' skills, knowledge, attitudes and practices throughout their career. A teacher's professional growth ensures They can meet the changing needs of learners, curriculum, technology, and society. Professional growth happens mainly through two stages: pre service teacher education and in service teacher education. Pre service teacher education. This is the education and training given to individuals before they start teaching in schools. It is a preparation phase for becoming a qualified teacher. Main components: subject knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, educational psychology, teaching practice, professional ethics. In-depth understanding of the subject to be taught. Subject knowledge needed. Understanding how students learn and how to teach effectively. Pedagogical knowledge. Learning about student behavior, motivation, learning styles and classroom management. Educational psychology. Teaching practice. Hands-on experience through internships or practice teaching in real classrooms. Professional ethics. Building a positive attitude, responsibility and commitment to the teaching profession. Example: a student doing Bachelor's of Education B.Ed course undergoes training in lesson plan, classroom interaction, assessment method and teaching practices before joining a school as a teacher. So key features: conducted formal teacher education program, example B.Ed, D.El.Ed, includes theoretical knowledge of subjects, child psychology and education philosophy, emphasizes teaching methodologies, classroom management and lesson planning. Often includes practice teaching in school, internships or teaching practicums. Purpose: to prepare competent and confident beginner teachers, to instill values, ethics and commitment to the teaching profession, provides a strong foundation for future teaching, prepares the teacher to handle different types of learners, encourages the development of communication, organization and reflective thinking skills. In-service teacher education. In-service education includes all the training and professional development activities a teacher undergoes after starting their career in school. Forms of in-service education: workshops and seminar, refresher courses, online courses or MOOC, peer learning and mentoring, action research. Key features: includes workshop, refresher courses, seminar, training program, online modules, etc. Focuses on updating teachers with new teaching strategies, technological tools and curriculum changes. Encourages reflective practices and peer learning. Example: a science teacher attends a workshop on integrating AI in classroom teaching or completes refresher course on NEP 2020. Purpose: to improve teaching effectiveness and student learning outcome, to help teachers adapt to educational reforms, policy changes and diverse classroom needs. Importance: keeps teachers up to date with the latest teaching trend and curriculum changes, helps teachers deal with classroom challenges effectively, encourages innovation, creativity and professional satisfaction, promotes lifelong learning among educators. Why? Both are important for professional growth. Improved teaching quality, adaptability, motivation and confidence, career advancement. Pre-service lays the foundation. In-service builds upon it throughout a teaching career. Together, they ensure teachers remain competent, motivated and relevant in a dynamic educational environment. Why is professional growth important? Improve teaching quality. Better trained teachers can improve student learning outcomes. Adaptability helps teachers adjust to new technologies, policies, and social changes. Motivation and confidence. Continuous learning boosts confidence and job satisfaction. Career advancement. Teachers can take on leadership roles like head teacher, principal, or teacher educator. Conclusion. Both pre-service and in-service teacher education are essential for teachers' professional journey. While pre-service builds the initial platform for becoming a teacher, in-service ensures continued growth, relevance, and effectiveness throughout the teaching career.